Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims. You're listening to God, Sex, and Love. This is a one-on-one conversation. I have a special guest today. It's none other than Miss Gigi Glasgow. Hello, Miss
Hello,
Gigi.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Miss Gigi Glasgow has been a strong supporter on our online, in particular on Facebook. I can count on seeing some type of something from her pretty much daily. So I just had to invite her to the show. So here she is.
Well, I definitely, I support positive, good messages that are being sent out there. And, when I looked at the title, I said, God, sex, and love, Christians don't want to talk about that, or some of us Christians do want to talk about it, but some people don't.
See, exactly. So that was part of the whole reason I started this whole situation. I mean, I guess God put it on my heart a few years ago. But for that very reason, because I remember back in the day in my dating years and stuff like that, I just felt like there was no platform out there. Like nobody's talking about the stuff that I'm currently going through. Right. That's how I kind of felt. And then over the years, I started to see more Christians talking about it. But still, kind of still in a reserved way. And I get, having to be reserved. But at the same time, I'm like, I want to be a little bit more freer-ish. So I guess that's what this is all about. I just kind of pretty much put it out there. It's God, sex, and love. And so just letting everybody know that all these topics can be discussed and everything else in between.
Right. And that's why I love seeing what you're doing. And it's definitely helping. I can say it's helping me, can't talk about for other people, but it helps me. Tell you that.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to see that it's helping somebody. I say all the time, I'm like, yeah, I think I might just have one listener. I got my mama. She be saying, I listened to the juice today. And I appreciate it. So I'm glad to know at least two of y'all out there listening.
Yeah, we out here. We out here.
Well, let's get into the chit chat about the topic that you brought to the table. This, of course, Miss Gigi, she's brought a topic to the table, and it's called The Ugly Truth About Expectations.
Yeah.
Miss Gigi, why did you want to talk about this on today?
You said, why did I want to talk?
Yeah, why do you want to talk about this on today?
The reason why is, unfortunately, we are living in a society or a world where relationships are, kind of iffy. Work is kind of iffy. It's there are a lot of things going on. And what I hear often is, well, I expected this, I expected that. And the reason why I say the ugly truth about expectations is because a lot of times we have put our own expectations, like what we expect from somebody or something, on someone else. And then get upset when they don't live up to that expectation, or we don't get out of it what we are supposed to get out of it, what we want to get out of it. I'll say that, not supposed to get out of it. And oftentimes expectations are created out of a need. And we're not honest about the need. So if I am in a relationship with someone, which I'm currently not, I'm single, hey.
Ready to mingle.
Really ready to mingle for real. So if I'm in a relationship with someone and my expectation is for them to be affectionate towards me all the time when they're around me, that's because I have a need. Maybe I have some rejection issues or abandonment issues that I haven't dealt with. So instead of me having that conversation with him or a therapist or having a moment of self-reflection, I'm saying, okay, well, if this person gives me what I need, what I expect, then I'm good. But what if they don't? Then do I feel neglected? Do I feel unwanted? Absolutely. Been there, done that. So I think when we're honest about our expectations, as well as, when we're honest about our needs, it helps the person understand what we expect.
Hey, I mean, listen, we ain't even got to say nothing else. You done said that's it. We can wrap up right there. That should have helped somebody. Just that. Just that alone can help somebody. I totally understand. I feel like I'm learning that as well. I mean, I guess I'm on a different side of things now. I guess being on the quote unquote married side, And then, I might have expectations of my husband. And one thing that I'm noticing, or that I feel like I've had to learn in my situation, is that, you know what, at the end of the day, like, one, I have to really, really understand that he is an individual. I can't look at him as if, all men do this or all men want this. Like, no, he's him. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to like really, really narrow it down to like, okay, what is it that he desires and wants and stuff like that. So that's one thing that
and it's kind of.
And then,
go ahead.
Oh no, you can go ahead.
What I was going to say, when you said what you said, it reminded me of learning about a person's love language, because it's also how you can find out what their expectations are. I mean, their love language is not the end all be all of things, but it does give you some insight to understand who they are as an individual. And we have to be willing to do the work. If your job, like, let's say they need a manager, you need to know what their expectations are for you to be a manager, for you to come up to being promoted to that management position. And if you do not have what they need, you're not going to be promoted unless, God steps in and he's like, listen, this is what I got for you. I said, what I have for you is for you.
Right.
That's a different thing. But it's just important to, one, understand what you need as a person, and then having the honest conversation with your significant other and saying, hey, what do you need? Because then I can better help you. Because when we are unaware of what they require, like, some people don't require a whole lot of attention, and that's fine. Then that means that there's something else that they may require or need. But when I know that I need a certain thing, and it's different from what my significant other is needing, I can't make them need the same thing as me. That's not fair, because they're not me.
Right. Yep. That's something I definitely had to learn. And then the other thing I've learned about that situation is that perfection is a fairy tale. Like that's one thing that's kind of been like that thing that's been standing out to me, because on one hand, now I do feel like my husband is perfect for me, and maybe I hope that he feels I'm perfect for him. So in that regard, yes, but are we perfect humans? Like, am I perfect? Am I the perfect wife? Is he the perfect husband? Are we perfect humans? No, and I don't think it's fair to expect people to be perfect. Like, on one hand, you think about it like, okay, so if he could just change this little thing, or if that could just be this different, or if he could do whatever my expectation is, like you said, then things would be perfect. But even if that did happen, it still wouldn't make things perfect. And that's the thing that I've had to kind of like really, really just remind myself of as well. Because it's like, like you said, we can't really force anybody to be, anything beyond them. We have to, people can change now. I'm not saying people can't change. No, I ain't saying that. But what I'm saying is that people got to want to change. It got to be them that makes the change. It can't be me putting my expectation on you to
Absolutely.
change.
I mean, I've heard it said before, if you're with somebody because they have potential and they never meet that potential that you believe they have, will you stay with them or will you ditch them? And that's what we have a lot going on. Oh, well, I just know that she gonna do X, Y, Z. I know that he's gonna be X, Y, Z. And this person hits a rough spot. And the last thing they need is somebody in their ear. See, I told you you ain't nothing. That all of that is created out of expectation. I expect for you to,
Mm.
like you said, change. And when you don't change based on what I want you to change to, now we have a problem. But relationships are about compromise, whether it's a friendship, a marriage, a dating situation, whatever. You have to be willing to compromise.
Yep.
And what we find is that a lot of people are not willing to take that extra step. Now, there's a difference between compromising and deal breakers. Deal breakers are deal breakers.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
that's
Yeah. Actually, that just came to my mind as well. It I guess what you said made me think about my ex, and I was trying to think like I felt like I feel like he had a lot of potential, very talented individual, things like that. And I would definitely believe in him and his talent. It's just that at the end of the day, it was like one of those things like, okay, now I here I am loving you, but who is loving me? Like I had to ask myself that in that time. And so eventually that led me to be like, all right, well, basically God just was like, all right, that's it. There ain't nothing else for y'all to have there. And so I just moved on in that regard. But and then obviously, I mean, for a good reason, because I mean, ended up meeting my husband.
That's what's up.
But
that's what's up. Now that's the juice. That's juice.
Right. About to tell that story one day because it was just so crazy how everything happened. But yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes helping people or like being there for a person when they're going through things like that's great. But then at the same time, like you just said, we can't necessarily sacrifice our own health and well-being to help someone else, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's their lives and they have to take charge of like what they're going to do,
Absolutely.
So yeah, there got to be some balance in that. It can't be just, okay, well, I'm gonna be here suffering just to at least in a dating situation. Now, I'm sure marriage is a totally different thing, and everything like that, but in a dating situation, it's like, all right, yeah, I guess, yeah, when it comes to those things that are deal breakers,
yeah, like, I mean, I have asthma. I can't be with somebody who's a smoker. I'm going to have an asthma attack dealing with you. That's a deal breaker if you a smoker.
There you go. Do I want to breathe or do I want this relationship?
Which one?
Look, the struggle ain't that bad, sis. Please breathe, sister.
I'm like, wow. But when I was younger, I'm not that old. I'm 35 years young. Yay.
Yay.
When I was like, before I turned 30, I started understanding more about myself and what I do expect. And just because I expect something doesn't mean that person is going to deliver on those expectations. And, the ugly truth about expectations is that it can cause really great relationships to go sour because people are not having the conversation, which communication is a part of, I would say, one of the most important key elements in the foundation of any relationship. And if you cannot have the conversation, then what are you doing?
That is so true. I know, like, that's probably I'm laughing because, like, I feel like I'm always like talking to my husband about this and that, and then I'm always trying to be like, all right, so what you think? You know what I'm saying? And so who knows how he really feels about it, like, because sometimes he'll just, I don't know if I'm just like, how can I say, like, not to say he's being a brick wall and stuff like that. I think he takes a lot of time to process stuff, and me, I'm just like, if you ask me the question, I'm gonna answer it, but him, he might think about it some, and then like, you know what I mean, that type of thing. And so yeah, and so it's like he's processing everything, and it's like, but I just want you to, like, just whatever your feeling is in this moment, like, you don't even have to, it don't have to be or whatever. But yeah, I try to keep that line of communication definitely open because, there's things that, I may, desire or I may like, one, I won't say expect, but we are talking about expectations. So like, okay, so maybe there's things maybe I do expect or something like that. But how do we
Exactly.
know
If you don't
if I don't
have the
communicate it?
conversation, men and women, okay, we do have a level of discernment. That's great and all. We get spiritually. My brother says spiritually spooky with stuff. We like, oh well, I felt it in I felt it in my spirit. No, no one has to. You don't have to discern something that somebody will tell you or show you. They're already showing you and telling you. You don't
Right.
need. I mean, okay, I guess the Holy Spirit is a leader, a teacher, a guide, a comforter, all of that. But really, do you not have eyes? Do you not have ears? So it's like it's
Right.
really, really important to have those conversations. And for people who don't want to have those conversations, I have to say, then, do you know who you are? Do you know what you want? Do you know what you don't want?
Mm.
Do you know what you like and what you don't like? That's really important.
Exactly. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That was the main thing. Now it's making me think about like the guys' conversations and stuff like that. But on one hand, that was one of the main things in my dating situation where I was like, why can't guys just say what it is? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I felt like I was going through. I felt like I was dealing with guys that, maybe they liked me, maybe they didn't, or maybe they just wanted to flirt, or you just wanted to fool around or whatever. Like, maybe they wanted to this button and didn't want the relationship. But my thing was just say that. Like, don't sit here and make me think you really like me or make me think that this is going to be something when you feel like you like. I know it would hurt. Yeah, it would hurt to hear somebody be like, I don't like you like that. But I'd rather somebody say, hey, I don't like you like that, than to be like flirting with me and like leading me on and making me think that we're going to probably be something. And then like I had one girl while we're talking about this, I had one I called him a Mr. I called him several things, but like a Mr. won't go away, like he just will pop up and like, or Mr. Right
Oh
now.
yeah, I've had a couple of those, and unfortunately, the Mr. Right Now can last for a minute and put you in a place like, oh my God, why did I deal with a temporary situation trying to make it permanent? Why did I do that to myself?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was like, definitely want lines of communication to be open in my marriage and things like that. I mean, and at the same time too, I know that if I'm going to hold on and keep things in, then I'm going to just end up resenting you or end up like, feeling negative about the situation. I need to just be open and honest about how I feel about whatever. And then, we can go from there. So at least the lines of communication are open. At least you know how I feel. I might have to wait and hear how you feel when you process it. Shout out to her. But still, But but yeah, it's like, but at least the conversation is there. It's on the table. At least, I'm not holding it in. And then, because that I would say that's one thing. When I was dealing with my ex, I was like, that's a whole girl. That's not even getting to. That's a whole nother conversation. But I would say that sticking to this conversation, I would just say like maybe the lines of communication wasn't fully open, or maybe I didn't feel fully comfortable to really express myself because, girl, for whatever reason in my life, I feel like it's another
Look, we can do another
podcast. For whatever reason in my life. Look, yes, to start another episode right now. No, no, I was just gonna say, like, for whatever reason in my life, I feel like only certain people really get me, like, or there's certain people that really like seem to understand like who I am and like me as an individual. Like other people, either I say something they get easily offended by it, or even if I just say my opinion, it's like it's this big thing and it becomes a big thing. And it's like, why come everybody else can say whatever they feel, they can say whatever they want to me or whatever, or, up and down, read me, whatever, but then if I say anything, it becomes World War III. Like, why is it like that for me? And I think
I've been in situations like that myself. Mm-hmm. And what I have learned, it goes back to expectations. You expect me to not stand up for mm-hmm. myself. You expect me to not have anything to say. You expect me to take whatever you do or say to me, take it laying down and don't have, any rebuttals. And it's just not, one, that's not fair, mm-hmm. But life ain't fair. So, but people, we have to get to a place where we are honest about expectations, honest about who we are as a person. If I'm easily offended, my expectation mm-hmm. is that you're not going to do anything to offend me. But when you do, am I going to say, hey, what you said or did bothered me, it offended me? See?
Mm-hmm. And then the person should be able to accept that. Don't be like, oh, well, no, it shouldn't offend you, or like, well, no, like, you have your feelings, you know what I mean? Like, absolutely. I have feelings as well, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we can go on and on with this one because it's just a lot of hurt people out there, and they don't have to be hurt. But the reason that they are hurt is because of the conversations that are not being had. It's a lot of mm-hmm. unforgiveness mm-hmm. and bitterness and anger and all that stuff. It's like, okay, you gonna let it go, or you gonna expect this person to come back and apologize? Some people are never gonna apologize. And the expectation that we should have for ourselves is the ability to bounce back, that resilience, that we will get past it, that we will move forward, because surely they're moving on with their life.
Gigi, you talking good, JJ. You talking good.
I pray that the people accept, that they accept.
Well, I mean, I guess there's like, that really didn't have any notes or anything about this, so there's no like, way to expand on the conversation. But I guess, if there's one thing you want to share with people about, expectations and the ugly truths about it that we haven't said, like, what would that thing be?
I would have to say the one thing would be, expectations can either make or break any relationship you have. And you have to be honest about your expectations. Mm-hmm. Find out your why. Why do you expect what you expect? Mm-hmm. That's what I would need.
And then I guess, I don't know why this phrase just came in my mind, like, expect the unexpected. But just also understand that your expectations aren't like, well, the world isn't going to revolve around you and your expectations, like, so just because you expect something,
absolutely,
it's going to
absolutely.
So we have to kind of maybe find some type of balance with that, I think.
Yeah, because not all things that we want in life are gonna happen. It just, if we got everything we wanted, I'm not sure of how, this world would even look, because some people got some evil stuff that they want, so got some evil things they expect. So I think as long as we keep in the forefront of our minds, when we are interacting with people, or we say, well, I expected more from you. Why did you expect more from them? Why did you expect them to understand who you are as a person? Is it because you're misunderstood often? Or you want to fit in? You, like I mentioned earlier, you come from a place of rejection, abandonment, neglect. You got to ask the why. That's what it boils down to.
Well, just, I don't know what more we can say about
I
that.
think
I
we
think
done
we
did
done.
it.
Yep, I think we done told them what they need to know. Well, Gigi, I just want to say thank you so much for being on God, Sex, and Love for the very first time. I'm looking forward to having many more conversations with you. Again, thank you so much for all the support that you give us online, the shout outs, the comments. I told you so much, I expressed to you earlier how much that means to me.
No problem.
I appreciate it. Yes, indeed. Well, I don't know if you want to share any socials or something like that.
Nothing coming up yet. Us good church folk, God folk. Pentecost Sunday is coming up. Woo woo. So I'm just really excited about what God is going to do. We got this pandemic going on, but we still have a responsibility to strengthen our relationship with God and keep it moving. If anything, please expect all good things to come from Him.
Hey, Deb, come on now. Listen, look, we should have dropped the mic on that. But drop the mic on out. Yes, indeed. Well, I've enjoyed this conversation, Miss Gigi. Thank you again for joining us.
And thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. And to everybody listening, please invite your friends, your family, your neighbors, a stranger, whoever, to come and listen to this awesome podcast.
Oh, we need to put on a billboard somewhere. I love it.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later, girlie.
Bye.
Hey, it's your guy Kelvin, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love. We hope you are enjoying the group panel discussions as well as the juice coming into you every morning to give you that inspiration before your day gets started. We love to hear from you. If you have some topic discussions, send them our way. All right, enjoy.